the first Joker just happened to look out on a good script and a good performance by Joaquin Phoenix, because what you get in the second film, I feel, is no direction, and you're kind of just centering the film around the idea of what if Arthur Fleck has a separate personality that is the Joker? Because, spoilers, in the opening scene, you get this Looney Tunes esque, about 5 minute opening short that illustrates Arthur as the Joker having this big, like, slapstick, combative fight sequence with his shadow. And his shadow takes on the persona of the Joker. So it's the Joker, and then there's just regular Arthur. And that kind of sets you up for that idea in the beginning of the film, which I really liked that opening scene. I thought it worked for me. But then I felt like as the film went on, which in the first half I didn't completely hate the film. I There was a lot of parts where I smiled throughout, and there was a lot of good moments. But man, as that second half just went on and certain characters made certain decisions, after Harley left Arkham, it felt like a lot of the wind was taken out of the sails narrative wise, because the film, for the most part, only takes place in Arkham and a courtroom. And any bit of kind of narrative exploration or, real big points of action happens in the musical sequences. And that would be fine. And a lot of people have talked about how they don't like musicals. I don't necessarily mind musicals, and it wasn't a thing of it being a musical. It's just bad writing and just a slap in the face, I feel like, of everything that Todd Phillips has kind of set up with the fans in the first one. I'm just going to talk about the scene that just beyond belief made me say, fuck this movie. Okay. So you're led up to this point to where Joker Arthur Fleck is being represented in court by this lawyer that wants to plead that Arthur has multiple personalities and that the Joker is a separate persona, and that's not Arthur. That was Joker that committed the crimes in the first film. So after all of this just dragging, just recounting the events of the first movie in the courtroom. There's like not new developments. Zazie Beetz comes back for like a scene where she just talks about exactly what we saw. There was no insight, and it just leads on furthermore. But either way, it led to Arthur firing his attorney on the spot. It led to him representing himself in court, which I thought was sick. I thought that was a really cool idea. And then it led to Arthur, pleading his own case, and Gary comes back. And that's like what a lot of people have been talking about. That's one of the best scenes in the film, is whenever Gary's up on the witness stand and Arthur is directly talking to him. And Gary has this really good speech, proclamation about how he used to not be afraid before the events that happened in the first film where Randall was killed in front of him. He used to not be afraid. Despite his size and his vulnerability, he never thought about, what dangers could just be around the corner, what could happen to him. And that was like perfectly executed as far as leading Arthur. It made him take a step back. It made him realize, like, why am I doing what I do? Like, is this really me? Like, I like Gary, I don't want to just, I don't want to make people afraid of me. I just want to, he just wanted to express himself. Either way, that in itself is a perfect reason for me for Arthur to have that conflict of whether or not he truly is Joker. The thing that I don't like, and I feel like, it's not a certain it's not the plot element as a whole, because I feel like in certain movies it can work. There's been a lot of movies that I've watched where something like this takes place and it's fine. But in this, it is so gratuitous and unnecessary. Arthur, after one of his first court dates of representing himself, and he made mention of the guards at Arkham and how they're all just like, not good and they're crooked and stuff. It led to Arthur being brought in to um Arkham, like after the court date, he's brought back into Arkham, and then the guards are like beating the shit out of him, and they're rubbing the makeup and stuff off his face. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, I can get with this. And then they're dragging Arthur around this like little corner where the showers are, and it's implied that it was like three or four guards raped Arthur, and I was just like, what the actual fuck are we doing? Why in God's name would you fucking do that? That's so just, again, it works in films. Like, it's not just that I'm outright like, no, I can't have that in a movie. I can't have that. It's just so inconsequential because you had the moments that led up with Gary. Because this is the thing, boys. When he got raped, he he had a moment where he was sitting in his cell, just face down, just defeated. And then that very next court trial, he he exclaims that he's not the Joker, that it was all a facade. So it's like Todd Phillips kind of made that scene of him just being like completely dehumanized, which you would think would be like give him the utmost reason to be like, yeah, fuck society, fuck everybody, I'm gonna be the fucking Joker and I'm gonna get revenge on these fucks. He didn't get revenge. These guards made it to the end of the movie just sitting there with their arms crossed looking at him, at Arthur, and it was just, it fucking blew my mind. It's still blowing my mind recounting it because it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why could we not have a moment like in the first film when he's getting the shit beat out of him in the subway? I was ready for him to grab one of the guards' guns or one of their nightsticks and start beating the shit or shooting them, and he just gets violated, and it's so fucking just unnecessary. It's just so like, it really fucks with, I feel like, Arthur's character, because at the end of the film, in the first Joker, when you got Arthur, he's completely confident, he's him, like, he's his utmost fucking fiendish Joker self. In this film, he's back to being meek Arthur in the beginning. And this especially just brings him right back down to the fucking worst, place he's ever been. And it's just like, why would you shoot your character that you made so renowned in your first film? Why would you shoot him in the foot and just bring him right back down to square one? I absolutely fucking hated that part of the film. And I didn't completely turn my brain off, but when I saw that, I just laughed. I was like, are we fucking serious? Is this what we're doing? And the more I think about it, the more I fucking hate it. Any thoughts? Did you all know that was a certain scene?
I'd seen a post that had kind of like, just so you know, Arthur, gets beaten by the prison guards, and I saw that and I skipped it, but I didn't know it had that much to do with like his identity or the extent of it.
I saw on Twitter that it was stated that that happened, but I thought that was just like a Twitter meme to shit on the film. And I was like, I really hope that doesn't happen. And now that you say that, like, what the fuck? Why the fuck? That would be a prime example, like you said, to bring him back into a darker place and bring Joker to life even more. I mean, holy fuck. Holy fuck.
Now, what's this with Heath Ledger.
Let me just fucking
So,
step over the rest of this shit because, um,
Oh no. Oh no.
Jesus Christ, guys. There was this one scene before. I'm backtracking, but fuck this film. Fuck Todd Phillips. Don't fucking support this film. Fucking go see Transformers 1 or The Wild Robot. There's a scene right before Arthur is like, yeah, I'm not the Joker. I'm not the Joker, baby. Where he's actually, I think it's the scene with Gary. He is doing a foghorn leghorn impression. The fucking chicken or rooster off of Looney Tunes. He's doing a like impression of him throughout the whole thing, of the whole scene, and it's so just fucking off-putting and weird. It's not even like a good kind of weird. You're just like, what are we doing? What is this? So, with the Heath Ledger thing, let me just run you through the basis of what the end of this film leads you up to. Like, what's the end? So, this fucking movie is going to break my fucking mind because there's so much stupid shit that leads up to this that I have to contextualize it a lot. Okay, so you're in the courtroom again. Fucking surprise, surprise. You got Arthur about to just get fucked by they're about to throw the book at him because he's like, I'm not Joker, fucking throw me in jail, fucking give me the chair, whatever. Who fucking cares? And then out of nowhere, a fucking bomb goes off and explodes out a wall in the courtroom, and I'm just sitting there like, okay. And Arthur's oh my god, do you all know Harvey Dent's in this movie?
but yeah, because someone graciously commented that on our TikTok short for.
That dude, as far as I'm concerned, he could have there could have not have been a name drop, and you would have not known he was Harvey Dent. But fucking Todd Phillips has fucking had exactly probably like one working brain cell throughout the process of this, and he was like, "Oh, it's fucking Harvey Dent." So after the bomb explosion, you look at him and half of his fucking body is caught up in the explosion, of course. But either way, that was just like a shot passing by. So Arthur stumbles out into the street, and two Joker supporters set off a car bomb and retrieved Arthur, and it's one dude that's like dressed up in the complete getup of Arthur at the end of the first film, and then there's another dude in a like one of those clown masks in the beginning that were in the beginning of the first film. And you're getting the perspective of Arthur. He's in the back lying down, and they're driving. They drive up to where like the beginning of the first film takes place, and they're talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna burn the whole city down. Arthur's like, no, I don't want to be Joker anymore. So he gets out and runs away from these guys, and he goes back to the steps of the first film, and he's going to the steps to meet up with Harley Quinn. Another point that happened whenever Arthur proclaimed he's not the Joker is Harley left the trial because she's been in like the pews in the back, like witnessing it all. And she's just down for some Joker dick. Like, she's not wanting nothing to do with Arthur. Like, she only cares about the Joker. So once he makes the claim that Arthur and Joker are separate, she's not really fucking with Arthur. So when he goes up to the steps and meets Harley, he's like, okay, I escaped. We can finally like be together and do our own thing. She's like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. You're not who I thought you were. And I was expecting him to get shot by her. And I would have been more okay with that than the latter of what actually happens. Back to that later. So she basically dumps him. My boy Arthur is a fucking simp, and I'm just sitting there like with my fucking I'm just in disbelief. The cops come. So he went from Arkham to the courtroom to the stairs, and he gets apprehended by the cops and goes back to fucking Arkham. The story just goes into a big fucking circle and nothing happens. So he goes back to Arkham. He's got no bitch. He's got no fucking clout. And throughout the film, you got these shots of this just random prisoner just like looking. And you're just like, whatever. And then there is Arthur sitting, and a guy is like, one of the guards is like, hey, you got a visitor. And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, for all I know, fucking Killer Croc could be in the other side of the fucking of the visitor seat. For all I know, just what was happening. So Arthur is walking down the hall, and the guard's like a little bit ahead of him. The guard goes ahead and exits the hallway into, I guess, where the visitor place is, and that inmate that you got some cutaways of, like, sporadically throughout the film, behind Arthur, and he's like, "Hey, Arthur, real quick, can I tell you a joke?" And Arthur's like, "Yeah, sure, if you make it quick." And basically, that inmate has like a joke, and then at the end of it, it ends with, "You get what you fucking deserve." He pulls out a shank, and he fucking shanks Arthur like 4 or 5 times, and Arthur fucking lies down, bleeds out, and one of his last like thoughts is with Harley on stage during one of their fucking musical montages, because that's all this fucking film has. And as you get the shot of Arthur bleeding out, it kind of is like pulled out, and you get Arthur in the foreground, and blurred out in the background, you get a guy, that inmate, you get him with his shank carving a smile into his face. And I'm like, fuck this. So, like, I don't necessarily think that was intended to be Heath Ledger's Joker. I think it was just kind of more so stated as like, well, I mean, Todd Phillips has said Arthur Fleck apparently is not the Joker, even though he fucking stated in his script for the first one that Arthur is the Joker. Either way, I think it was just like Arthur's um, iconography as the Joker led to a development of another Joker. But a lot of people thought it was Heath Ledger's Joker, but I don't think the times would have fallen correctly. But it was just such a fuck you to the fans, because that's how it ended, and it was just so stupid.
Well, even the Harvey Dent situation wouldn't work out if
Mm.
it was Heath Ledger's
True.
Joker. I mean,
I didn't
like,
even think of that.
I mean, with you explaining that, because I'd seen where people were saying like Heath Ledger's Joker is at the end of the movie, so I was like, that shouldn't work out. And then I was seeing the Christopher Nolan comments, and I was like, did they really just like shoehorn a connection in to connect?
Which, for context, it was stated in the first film, whenever Arthur's on top of the squad car in the big crowd of fans, whenever he does the smile with the blood in his mouth. Originally, that was going to be him carving a smile into his face, which, again, yeah, like, why would you do that? Just, not needed. What ended up being was really fucking good. But again, Christopher Nolan not with Warner Brothers anymore. You got Todd Phillips just at the reign, and fuck it, why not? That's a popular Joker. Like, another Joker can do that. It's like, not every Joker has to carve a fucking smile on his face. And Todd Phillips, you're a fucking hack. You suck.
So he basically pulled a Rob Zombie Halloween 2 on this
Basically.
I like, if you're gonna spend the time making a second film, why not go balls deep into like like was said before? Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, I'm gonna fucking, I don't give a fuck about the Joker, but I'm gonna make a Joker too. I got the money. You could have, like, fucking year one Joker. You have all these possibilities. What the fuck are we doing? This could have been bigger than Joker, the first Joker, if you would have dove deep into just Joker itself with Harley. I mean, that would have been a cool ending too, though. Harley shooting him down the stairs. That would have been cool.
Would have liked that a lot better than him getting shanked by some random prisoner.
Yeah, that ending sounds so shit, to be honest. It's like, oh, anybody can be Joker. It's like, we wanted him to be Joker. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, what is that? The rape scene, that I've been thinking about that in my head when you said that. I was just like,
All right, I'll say like it's it's like they don't like show anything outright. Like I said, it's alluded to, but it's just so fucking just like unnecessary and just distasteful.
I don't.
It's like, why would you put after what everything like what Arthur has been through as a character and what he's put through, in this first film, in the first film, and then the second film? Like, why is that even necessary? And
Yeah,
again, with everything that led up to Gary, that is the perfect reason for him to be like to question the Joker. But he could have just got beat up by the guards. There didn't have to be anything like
yeah.
that.
I
It's just, what the fuck are you doing?
I think that's unnecessary and kind of I know it fits like the mental illness. People can do whatever they want, guards wise, but it's like in this, I don't feel like that's really a key frame to the story or needed at
No.
all. Like,
You're in a comic book movie, dude. You don't need to
yeah,
fucking reinvent the wheel or just like this was, I'm sure, purely just to get people talking. It's disgusting.
yeah, like
It's payday.
yeah, like talk like how iconic it was when he smeared the blood on top of that car on top of his face. That was such a fucking like iconic moment, and you're like, this dude is the Joker. And then from that to this, I don't think I will even see this movie as like canon whatsoever in my
No.
brain. I think Joker 1 was perfect on its own.
Yep. You will not catch me rewatching this. I just, like I said, initial watch was a 2 star. The longer I thought about it, I dropped it down to a 1.5. It's just, it's fucking terrible.
Plus, like the lip reading thing that's going on with him and Lady Gaga about saying maybe
Hmm.
it's terrible. If that's true, holy fuck.
Another thing that came out for the reports was Lady Gaga signed on to the script before she had even realized, or she had signed on to the movie before the script was finished. And Todd did not consult with James Gunn or DC. James Gunn left him notes graciously, and Todd Phillips apparently wiped his ass with that. I mean,
If he was just done with it, maybe just hand
yeah,
it to
not
off.
get hand it off or just not do it. Like I hate it just because whenever it first got announced, I was like, why are they doing a second Joker? But I saw the trailer and I got excited and I got caught up and I was like, this will probably be good. The first one was good. Why would this one not be good?
That's insane.
No, I would say like I have no issue with. I mean, of course, I've not watched the movie, so it might change a little bit. I don't have an issue with the story that they were telling turning into Arthur not being the Joker in that universe. Because honestly, I don't think that Arthur would be able to go up against like a Batman. Like he's definitely not the smart, calculating Joker. He's just all over the place. But I do think that them not making him the Joker and the route they went down was the wrong way to do it.
He didn't even have to be the Joker, but like, don't kill the guy. I mean, just after everything the character's been through, I mean, there just could have been a better way of doing that. Like, he could have passed it down to somebody, or like Harley could have shot him, and then there would have been like news reports flashing on the fucking screen in the prison in Arkham. And then maybe that could cause the guy to fucking cut his face. I mean, I just fucking thought of a better ending just off the top of my head as opposed to what we got. Like, oh my god. Um, One real quick thing. I don't normally subscribe to the I don't know. This is kind of conspiracy theory esque, but I actually think this might be something. So this is Twitter talk. So take it with a grain of salt. But Todd Phillips hates the audience he indirectly catered to with the first film. There was a lot of talk of like incels identifying with Arthur Fleck. and people sympathizing with the violence that he did in it and his actions and not really seeing it for what it was. So in turn, Todd made this second film to be like, actually, that person you identified with and thought was this big messiah is not even the Joker. Much like a lot of the Joker's followers in the second movie that are thinking he's the Joker, and he turns out not to be, and they're pissed. It's like he done that to the audience as like a direct middle finger. And some people think it's clever. I think it's just fucking stupid because
Yeah.
I feel like he ended up, like I said, he ended up catering to an audience he didn't necessarily intend to cater to. So he was like, let me just backtrack and just trample all over what I'd done in the first film.
What drives me nuts nowadays is like I like the Batman, how realistic it is somewhat, you know?